Checking in on my audio. Good morning. Sound. How's everybody doing this morning? I'm going to give a minute for folks to join in. I'm Valerie, and I'm one of the yoga teachers with Bounty and Soul. And Danielle and I alternate teaching this class on Tuesday mornings from 9:30 to about 10:15. It's a gentle, very gentle class, suitable for all bodies, all body types, all levels. And we both try to give modifications as we go, but always feel free to modify as needed for yourself. So if you want to add a little, since this is a really gentle class, if you want to add a little more flow, always feel free to do that. And if you need to slow down or pause and just be still, also always feel free to do what you need for your body. So today, it's in a little bit, we are going to use a strap for some arm, so for some shoulder opening, chest opening, and then some hip opening. So if you have a strap, give you just a minute to grab that. If you don't have a strap, no worries. You can use, so like this is a little sweater that I wear sometimes. You could use, a sweater, a tie, a belt, a towel, really anything that you could get long enough to go to do this and long enough to have wrapped around the bottom of your foot. So I'll give everybody just a minute to grab something if you don't have something already handy. And again, no worries. It doesn't have to be like, an official yoga strap of any kind. And if you have any requests or modifications that you know you need, always feel free to drop in the comments. Also, if you ever can't hear me or any technical difficulties happening, please let me know. All right, excuse me. So let's go ahead and take a few breaths. Go ahead and find a comfortable seat. You can be on a bolster pillow. If you're in a chair, you want your sits bones touching the bottom of the chair and your feet on the floor. If your feet don't reach the floor, tuck some books or something under your feet so that your feet can rest flat. And we'll inhale through the nostrils. Exhale the first few times through the mouth with a sigh. Nice. Then let's transition, taking a few breaths, breathing in through the nostrils. I think we're going to do some alternate nostril breathing after we warm up neck and shoulders a little bit. But if it feels okay to you, begin to take a few breaths through the nostrils, all the way into the belly, past the chest, the ribs, into the belly, and then exhale also through the nostrils. So creating that audible sound like we were creating when it was being released through the mouth. And just noticing as we are coming into the breath, coming into the space. Maybe you're just kind of landing here, just joining us, or sometimes it can be a struggle to clear out our space, find that space, right? You guys don't see it, but I've got a giant pile of laundry over there. So just allowing yourself to drop into this space for this time, with yourself, with each other. Inhaling, and as you exhale, let's release the chin to the chest, drawing right ear to right shoulder, back through center, left ear to left shoulder, back around. So staying connected to the breath as we move through this practice, that breath that we were just working on briefly together, we want to stay with that breath throughout the practice. So I'm just going to pull my hair out of the way real quick, you guys. So that inhaling through the nostrils, deep into the belly, pausing and exhaling through the nostrils. And continue with that. And then coming back to center, inhaling the shoulders up, exhaling down and around. So I can sort of see my chat box, but if anybody posts anything, I will jump up there a little closer so I can see. And inhale, shoulders up, exhaling forward. So if there's any folks out there doing this seated from a chair, ideally you want to be, I touched on this before, but in a chair that's pretty flat. Or sofa or like cushy chairs make it a little bit harder. If that's all you got, then that's good. Maybe come up towards the edge. If you have a kitchen chair or a sturdier chair, that's good. And let's inhale, shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale with the side through the mouth. So inhale, exhale. So let's do that maybe 4 more times. Nice. And then let's do a little inhaling through the nostril. Exhale with a wide jaw. Anybody else grinds their teeth at night? Sometimes you might find your jaw's a little sore in the morning. So inhaling and exhale. You can even come in on the side a little. Inhale. Couple more. You have to watch yourself look silly on video here. All right, so let's warm up a little more our bodies, and then we'll come into that alternate nostril breathing. So we'll do a little seated cat-cow. So hands can be on the knees. They could also be on the shins. Inhale as you come forward. Exhale, chin towards the chest. Inhale forward, leading with the chin and the collarbones. Exhale, chin towards the chest, navel towards the spine. And then the sits bones, the base of your spine is going to stay as much in place as possible through this movement. Seated folks, you're doing the same thing. Feet are still on the floor. Hands can be anywhere that feels right to you. Knees, on thighs, shins. I just heard my daughter sneeze in another room. The inhaling. You come forward, exhale, around. Coming back to the breath if you've lost that connection. So anytime as we move through, sometimes just noticing, maybe you're holding the breath as we move, maybe you've just kind of moved away from that more intentional breath. There's nothing wrong with that, just bringing it back to the breath. Changing directions if you haven't already. Hope everybody is doing well this morning. You don't have to ever drop in the chat box, but it's nice to know who's out there. We used to have this class in person at the Tuesday markets, and hopefully we will again. But we have this class every week, and you can always access it at a later time too. So it's under videos tab on the page. All right, so let's do our alternate nostril breathing. That can be really good. It's good for balancing the energy, which can be good. Nice this time of year, really good any time of year. But so balancing that part of us that wants to be still and kind of inward, and the part of us that's like, So trying to find that middle ground. It's also balancing masculine and feminine energy, sun and moon energy, left and right side of the body. So how this is going to work is we're going to start by bringing the index finger and actually, so we're going to bring the index finger and the middle finger to the bridge of the nose. Thumb is closing off the right nostril. So I'm not going to mirror you guys right now. So I can do it with you. So thumb's closing off the right nostril. Left nostril is open, and we're going to inhale through the left nostril. Pause. Ring finger closes off the left nostril. Exhale through the right. Inhale through that open right nostril. Closing off the right nostril as you exhale through the left. Inhale through that left nostril. Close off the left nostril. Exhale through the right. Inhale right. Close off the right. Exhale left. So you might notice, you guys just continue at your own pace. You might notice, bring your awareness to the temperature of that air on the exhale and the inhale. And you might notice that as the air exhales on the left side, it's a little cooler. And then on the right side, it's a little warmer. Two more times on each side. So we're doing this with the intention of balancing energy. This is something you could also come back to and play with a little. If there's times where you're wanting to bring some calmer energy in, you could close off and just breathe through the left and right. Just through the left. Or if you're wanting a little more energy, maybe the afternoon slump, you could do a little bit of breathing just through the right side. Next time you exhale left, releasing the hands. And a few breaths breathing in through the nostrils. Imagining you're sending that breath all the way down to the base of the spine. Exhale, the breath's coming back up. And just, again, noticing what there is to notice after just a few moments of that intentional breath. So again, that whole practice left and right is something you could do anytime throughout the day that you felt called, or play with one side or the other. All right, so now, actually, if you're seated and you feel like you need to shake your legs out a little bit before we come to work with the straps, we'll take a minute to do that. And same for folks that are in a chair. If you want to, move your knees from side to side, reset a little. Excuse me, got a little allergy sniffles going on today. All right, so finding your strap or your sweater, or gosh, you could use tights, a tie, lots of different things you could use. And so whatever you're using, you want to it might take a minute to adjust your width here. So we're going to start by bringing the arms overhead. It's going to take me a minute to adjust with this strap. All right. I'm going to switch to my other strap, I guess, so I can see it on the screen. Can't really see that white one very well. Hopefully this one won't knock me out. All right, that's a little better. Okay, so we're going to start arms over the head, and so you may need to adjust this as we go, either making that distance shorter or longer. So we're going to bring it down, inhale up, exhale, bring it back over. So that's the part where if that is not doable, you can lengthen it. Making it longer will make that easier, right? But keeping it a little shorter, that tension also helps with little holding your arms up. I'm so sorry, you guys. That really should be off. That was off. I'm not really sure why. All right, so we're going to go back. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Inhaling up. It's so funny watching yourself on video, you guys. And then it's backwards for the direction, so I'm realizing that I'm a little off on the sides. All right. Inhale up. And then exhale, we're going to swing to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, lower left. If you don't have a strap at all, then you could just do this with your arms up and get some of the same benefit. Just that movement of up, arms up is good for lymphatics and is a shoulder strengthener. Coming back to center. And then we're going to come back to the strap, but let's go ahead and set it down for a minute. And just shake your arms out. Shoulder rolls again if you need to. Shake the wrists out, and let's do a couple wrist stretches in between here. So we're gonna bring the right palm in front of you, palm facing up, and bring the left hands to pull that finger back. Pull the fingers back towards you. You should be feeling that stretch in the forearm. And then lower the fingers down towards the floor and draw the fingers towards you. So you're going to feel that in the top of the forearm. Shake it out. And let's do the same thing on the other side. So left palm up, fingers towards you. Left palm, or left fingers down. And shake it out. Some circles in both directions with the wrist. All right, so let's run your strap again. This one is really long, you guys. Let's just like that. All right. So, and arms overhead. Inhale, exhale, lowering down. Inhale, up. It's just funny, you guys, trying to watch yourself do this. All right, and lower back down. Inhale up. So this time as we come up, we're going to bring the right arm straight up in the air. That left arm is bending behind you. So right elbow goes up. Left elbow is pointing down towards the floor, and your hands are interlaced behind you. So maybe your hands are coming together to touch, maybe not. Either way is okay. If hands aren't coming together, just bring your palms to rest on your back. And this is probably going to be really different from one side to the other. And just for me, on one side, you can totally bring the hands together, and the other side, not so much. All right, so let's release out of that. Find your strap again. And bring that back overhead. Advantages and disadvantages to the long strap, right? Okay, so left arm overhead, bring that left elbow up. The right elbow is pointing down towards the floor, left elbow up, bringing the hands towards one another on the back, holding on to the strap if that is helpful, or you can just have your hands, palms of your hands pressing into your back. Lean forward to look. See who's here. Couple more breaths. And then release. And Shake it out one more time. I got one more little chest opener. I'm going to do that. All right, so one last time with your strap. Readjust. And the world's longest strap. All right, so inhaling up. And then exhale. We're going to bend at the elbows this time. So strap is behind you and really kind of lean forward with the chest. Opening the neck, opening the chest and heart. Couple more breaths. And slowly releasing that back down. Nice. So if any of you are trying this at home, I'd love to hear what you're using. If you didn't have a strap, what you were using. You can drop that in now or later. Just curious what folks are using at home, if anything, instead of a strap. So let's come on to hands and knees. Make any adjustments in your setup. How's everybody doing out there? It's so hard when I can't see and talk to you guys. All right, let's come on to hands and knees. For our cat-cow on the floor. So, folks, if you're still in a chair, you can stay in the chair. Just come back to that cat-cow that we were doing earlier in your chair. Folks on the floor, inhale, lifting the chin, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, pressing the palms into the floor. Chin towards the chest, navel towards the spine. Inhaling up. Exhale. Inhaling up. Exhale. So if you'd like, I'm going to bring a little flow here as you exhale. Tailbone towards the ankles. Inhale, sweeping along the mat. Exhale. So for folks that are in a chair, option for you might be to spread the knees a little wider. Place your hands on your thighs or knees, and then you're going to scoop the body through that little bit of space you created, just making a deeper swoosh as you come through. That's one option for seated folks. And exhale, next time that you come back, coming into child's pose, knees can be spread wide or together. Let's go to rest the head. So head can rest on the floor or mat. You can cross the arms and the head rests here. Seated folks, your knees can be spread wide or knees together. And just cross your arms and let your head rest on the forearms. Everybody will hang out here for about 5 breaths. So coming back to the breath, even in this position that might feel a little harder to get to that full belly breath because our bellies are compressed. Still imagining and sending the breath all the way to the belly and then exhaling. Few more breaths. And coming back up. I'm going to do a little time check because I want to make sure we have time for our hip openers. Yeah, let's do just a couple more things and we're going to come on to our back for hip openers. So coming back in the tabletop, inhale, and as you exhale, folks on the floor, we're going to step the left foot back, toes curled under, just gently rocking back and forth. If you are in a chair right now, you're going to extend the left leg out in front of you and point and flex the left foot. Sorry, you guys. Little frog in my throat today. So it's back and forth. And then option to pivot on the back foot, grounding down through the right palm. We're going to ground down through that sole of the left foot. Inhale, lifting left arm up. Maybe making some circles with the wrist here. So folks, if you're seated, you're extending that left foot out and left arm up. Inhale up. Exhale, we're going to lower that left arm down. Keep that left leg extended, sending through the heel. Inhale, lifting the right arm up. So we're twisting. Maybe circles with the wrist again. Inhale, as you exhale, both palms down. And coming back, knee to the floor. Maybe a couple of cat-cows to reset. And then inhaling as you exhale, we're going to step the right foot back. If you're in a chair, remember you're extending the right foot out in front of you, heels on the floor, pointing and flexing the toe. Those of us on the mat, we're rocking back and forth here. And then option, if you like to ground down through the right feet, through the sole of that right foot. We're twisting, opening, right arm comes up. Really grounding down through the right foot, lifting that right arm up, fingertips wide. Feeling that opening all along the side body on the right side, along the hip, front of the hip, psoas. And some circles with the wrists like we did on the other side. Inhale, and as you exhale, lowering that hand down, grounding down this time through the right palm. That right leg is still extended back, opening up as you twist. Left palm behind you. And then lowering that palm back down. And coming back to tabletop. Let's do a little, whatever kind of fluid movement might feel good to you. So maybe bending at the elbows, moving in both directions, maybe some movement just in the lower part of the body, just in the pelvic bowl. Again, both directions, wherever you're finding that movement. And slowly finding your way onto your back. I will meet you guys there. So coming onto your back, and you want to have your strap or your towel or whatever you're using for your strap handy. Clear a little space. You want to have space on either side of you available. Just pausing for a moment, walking your feet to the outer edges of the mat. Seated folks, you can walk your feet out a little wider. Extending your arms out to the side, letting the knees fall to the left and head to the right. Coming back through center, knees to the right, head to the left. And a couple more times to each side. Coming back to center, keeping the feet spread wide, whether you're on the mat or on the floor. Let the knees fall in and rest on each other. So knees fall in, resting on each other. Feet are spread wider than knees. And pressing the lower back just gently into the mat or the sits bones, making sure they're flat on your chair if you're seated. And then extending the right leg long, drawing the left knee into the chest. So same for seated folks. The right foot's going to stay on the floor, drawing the left knee into the chest. And then we're going to make circles with the left leg. So you can hold on with one hand or two hands to the front of that knee, making circles in both directions. And then we're going to find your strap. So you can bend the right knee, find the strap. And then adjusting as needed. So again, this is that crazy long strap, you guys. So I've got to wrap it around my hands a good bit. So we're going to bring that leg towards straight up and down. So again, notice I said towards that. For some folks, if your hamstrings are super tight, that might be here, right? But what the strap does, it gives you some support with that, so you might be able to get a little further than if you did not have that support at all. So you want the shoulders to still be relaxed, the head and neck relaxed. Seated folks, at this point, you could be doing this exact same thing with a strap or your towel or tie or belt, extending that leg out in front of you. And then we're going to bring the strap into the left hand. Inhaling, and as we exhale, slowly lowering the left foot, or left leg, not just the foot, right? Towards the floor. So it's going to be different for everyone. Your foot may come all the way to the floor or closer so the shoulders are staying, or it may hang out up here. And relaxed. And then once you've found your edge, let's breathe into that edge. 3 to 5 breaths here. And slowly and with support, drawing that leg back to center. Inhaling, and as you exhale, we're going to bring the strap into the right hand. I'm going to move over a little bit, I think, so I don't hit my shelf. Extend the right leg out in front of you. Inhaling, and as you exhale, we're going to slowly draw that right leg across the opposite side of the body. So this, you're probably going to feel in the IT band in your hip, and then that muscle that runs from the hip along the outside of the foot. And if you're like me, you might have some furniture in the way, that's okay. And just pause at that edge. And then once you're at your edge, lean out there for another 3 to 5 breaths. Back to center. So folks that are in a chair, and you may have already figured this out, the folks on the floor, let's bring both feet into your strap and both feet straight up into the air while we're talking a little bit. Folks in a chair for this, you could be doing this with your strap seated, or you could come to standing beside your chair and one arm on the chair for support. And do a version of this standing. So that would be with the leg coming up to the side. All right, so folks that are on the floor here, both feet up, flexing the feet, sending the heels upward. Folks that are in a chair, you can work with having both feet flat on the ground and really pressing all of the toes into the floor, or you can work with standing and mountain pose behind your chair, holding on to the back of the chair and really pressing all of the toes into the floor. And then we're going to bring that strap into the right foot. I'm going to change sides so that I have enough room to do that. So strap comes around the right foot. So hanging out here for a moment, just feeling your hamstring on this side, hamstrings on this side. And then as you're ready, you can bring the strap into the right hand, maybe bringing the hand to rest on the left hip as you begin to lower the right foot towards the floor. Hello, foot. Perspective on these are so interesting, right? You don't have a camera person. And then once you find your edge, breathing into that edge. See if you can relax into a little bit more. Notice what's happening in other parts of the body as you're opening here is they're holding in the lower back and the shoulders and the jaw. So you can soften any of those places that are tightening up and holding. And then as you're ready, slowly and with support, coming back to center, extending the left leg long, bringing the strap into the left hand as we cross over the body on the side. So again, coming towards the edge really slowly. And when I say the edge, you guys, what I mean is that point where you're starting to hold your breath, where you're shifting just from, oh, like I feel that, that's kind of tight, to like, oh, that is, bordering past uncomfortable towards pain. So we don't want to have burning, tingling, pinching kind of pain. Muscle stretching is okay, but you want to be able to breathe. That's really the sign of your edge when you're like, oh, I can't take a full breath anymore. So once you're there, ease back up a little and come back to the breath. You may find that when you do that, when you ease up a little, come back to the breath, breathe into that edge. Sometimes it moves you past that edge to the next one, right? Sometimes not. Sometimes that pause and breathing into it, releasing the tension, allows for that deepening. Which is one of the beauties of breath in our yoga practice, right? All right, so let's come back to center. One more time, bringing both feet up. Relaxing the shoulders. This is something that you could also do against a wall if you didn't have a strap or you just want a little more support without having to activate the arms at all. And again, seated folks, if you're in a chair, you could come to standing behind your chair, focusing on pressing the heels, the toes, all four corners of the feet into the floor as you're relaxing the shoulders. Or you could be in your chair with knees bent and feet flat on the floor, but really bringing your attention to the feet pressing into the floor. And releasing the feet to the floor. Again, spreading the knees wide, just like we did when we first came down to the floor. Spreading the feet wide. And a little time check. one more time. Walking the feet to the outer edges of the mat, or if you're in a chair, walking the feet out. Bring the arms to your side in a T. And inhale as you exhale, allowing the knees to fall to the right, head to the left. Inhale back to center, knees to the left, head to the right. Coming back to center, allowing, so feet are still on the outer edges of the mat, allowing the knees to come and rest on each other again. Relaxing the lower back. And then walking the heels in. We're going to do a little bit of breath work again on our backs before we come fully into Shavasana. But if there's anything that your body wants before we extend the legs long, or before we rest, for those of you in the chair, before we come back to stillness, if there's anything you want to do, drawing the knees into the chest and rocking side to side, or happy baby, bridge, take a moment for that. And then we'll meet back either in seated if you're in a chair, or those of you on your mat, extending the legs long. So arms are by your side, palms facing up. Flexing the feet. Inhaling and exhaling through the mouth. Just like we did at the beginning of class, seated. So we're going to practice just a couple of rounds of something similar to that alternate nostril breathing. But so we're just going to imagine the breath moving all the way through the body in that way. So on your back or seated, just imagine. So bring your attention to the soles of your left foot, or the sole of your left foot. We're going to inhale. Imagine that you're bringing the breath up through the sole of the left foot, all on the left side of the body, to the crown of the head, and then exhaling all along the right side of the body, out through the sole of the right foot. Pause, just like we did in that alternate nostril breath, and then imagine the breath coming all along the right side of the body. Pausing at the crown, exhaling all along the left side of the body. So maybe 2 more times. Inhale on the left. Pausing at the crown, exhaling on the right. Last time. Inhale, right side of the body. Pausing at the crown, exhale on the left. And just noticing anything there is to notice. Noticing where the calves are touching the mat. Noticing the shins and the knees, the back of the knees and back of the thighs. Noticing the front of the thighs, quadriceps, the hips and belly. Noticing the lower back and the spine, the ribs, and the heart, your fingers and forearms, and shoulders, upper back and neck, the jaw and face. Just allowing yourself to be here in this intentional stillness and receptivity, time of integration after this gentle movement. And if you have time, if you are at home in your space and you have time to be here in Shavasana and you're loving it and you want to stay a little longer, definitely stay here. If not, just beginning to find some movement, beginning to have awareness of the body. So it could be moving wrists and ankles or any kind of fluid movement that feels good. It doesn't have to be just those things. Maybe moving the head from side to side or stretching the arms overhead. As you're ready, you can come onto one side. Slowly and gently. And as you're ready, you can use your arm to slowly press up. Finding your way back to a comfortable seat. Little chills. Coming back to seated. And bringing the hands to heart center. Pressing the palms towards each other. Pressing the thumbs towards the chest. And just noticing how you feel after this time of intentional movement, intentional breath. Give a comment here. A little closer to see. And in class, when we have class in person together on Tuesdays, I like to take a moment at the end to put an invitation to pause and gratitude. There is a market today. There's a market from 11 to 1. And there's going to be a ceremony to welcome the new Valiant Soul truck. So I hope that many of you that are watching are able to get by today at the Buy Low in Black Mountain and be part of that celebration and get a box of fresh whole foods. But just giving gratitude to all the folks that make that happen, the staff of Valiant Soul, all the volunteers. There's so many, hundreds of volunteers. There's so many folks that donate food, the folks who work in the stores, that drive the trucks, the farmers, folks in the field, all the hearts and hands that make the market possible, that make this class together possible. Beautiful sunlight coming through right now, guys. So it's in that spirit of gratitude that the light in me honors and sees the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next Tuesday. Take care, you guys. Oh, and you're welcome, Kara. Thanks for being with us. I'm glad class was good for you today. Hope to see you next week. Bye, everyone.